How Pablo Escobar became a criminal. This infamous Colombian drug lord is one of the most notorious criminals in modern history. His journey from a humble beginning to becoming the king of cocaine is a story filled with ambition, violence, and unparalleled ruthlessness. But how did Pablo Escobar become a criminal? To understand this, we must delve into his early life, the socio-economic conditions of Colombia at the time, and the opportunities and choices that shaped his path to infamy. Born on December 1, 1949, in Rio Negro, Colombia, Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria was the third of 7 children. His father, Abel de Jesus Dari Escobar Echeverri, was a farmer, while his mother, Hermilda de los Dolores Gaviria Berrio, was a schoolteacher. Despite their honest professions, the family struggled financially, and this environment of scarcity and aspiration would significantly influence young Pablo. Escobar's early criminal activities began in his teenage years. He started with petty crimes, such as stealing gravestones, sanding them down, and reselling them. His criminal ingenuity was evident even then, showcasing his ability to identify and exploit opportunities for profit, regardless of the moral implications. By the time he was in his late teens, Escobar had graduated to smuggling stereo equipment and cigarettes, building connections with local contraband smugglers. The socio-economic landscape of Colombia in the 1970s played a critical role in Escobar's rise. The country was plagued by political instability, widespread poverty, and rampant corruption. The illegal drug trade, particularly marijuana, began to flourish as a lucrative business for those willing to take the risk. Escobar saw the immense profit potential in this burgeoning industry and began his involvement in drug trafficking, initially focusing on marijuana. The turning point in Escobar's criminal career came with the emergence of cocaine as a popular recreational drug in the United States during the 1970s. Recognizing the explosive demand and high profit margins, Escobar shifted his focus to cocaine. He established connections with coca farmers in Peru and Bolivia, securing a steady supply of coca paste. This raw material was then processed into cocaine in clandestine laboratories in Colombia and smuggled into the United States. Escobar's genius lay in his ability to organize and streamline the cocaine trade. He co-founded the Medellín Cartel, which quickly became the most powerful and feared drug trafficking organization in the world. The cartel operated with a level of sophistication and efficiency that was unprecedented in the criminal world. Escobar employed a combination of bribery, intimidation, and violence to eliminate competitors and ensure the loyalty of his associates. His infamous motto, plata o plomo, silver or lead, encapsulated his approach. Accept his bribe or face his bullet. The cartel utilized a fleet of aircraft, boats, and even submarines to transport cocaine to the United States. Escobar also pioneered the use of mules, individuals who swallowed or concealed drugs on their bodies to smuggle them across borders. These methods enabled the Medellín Cartel to flood the U.S. market with cocaine, reaping billions of dollars in profits. Escobar's immense wealth allowed him to wield unprecedented power and influence, buy off politicians, judges, and law enforcement officials, effectively creating a state within a state. His philanthropy endeared him to many impoverished Colombians, who saw him as a Robin Hood-like figure. He funded housing projects, built schools and sports fields, and provided financial assistance to the poor. This duality of benevolence and brutality made Escobar a complex and polarizing figure. However, Escobar's criminal empire was built on a foundation of violence and terror. He ordered the assassination of countless rivals, journalists, and public officials. His reign of terror reached its zenith in the late 1980s and early 1990s when he waged a brutal war against the Colombian government. Escobar orchestrated bombings, kidnappings, and murders on an unprecedented scale, turning Colombia into a war zone. His most infamous act of violence was the bombing of Avianca Flight 203 in 1989, which killed 110 people. This act of terrorism was intended to kill presidential candidate Cesar Gaviria, who had vowed to crack down on cartels. The international community, particularly the United States, took notice of Escobar's activities and began exerting pressure on the Colombian government to bring him to justice. The Colombian authorities, in collaboration with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA, launched a relentless campaign to dismantle the Medellín Cartel. Escobar's downfall began in 1991, when he surrendered to Colombian authorities in exchange for a promise that he would not be extradited to the United States. He was confined to a luxurious private prison, La Catedral, which he had built to his specifications. Despite being incarcerated, Escobar continued to run his criminal empire from within the prison. This blatant disregard for the law led to public outrage and mounting pressure on the Colombian government to act decisively. In July 1992, Escobar escaped from La Catedral, leading to a massive manhunt that lasted over a year. During this time, the Colombian government formed a special task force, the Search Bloc, dedicated solely to capturing Escobar. Additionally, a vigilante group known as Los Pepes, composed of rival cartel members and former associates, also hunted Escobar, further intensifying the pressure on him. On December 2, 1993, Pablo Escobar's reign of terror came to an end. Colombian National Police, with assistance from U.S. intelligence agencies, located him in a middle-class neighborhood in Medellín. In a dramatic rooftop shootout, Escobar was killed. His death marked the end of an era for Colombia and the global cocaine trade. However, Escobar's legacy is far from simple. On one hand, he was a ruthless criminal responsible for thousands of deaths and unimaginable suffering. His violent tactics and unrelenting pursuit of power plunged Colombia into chaos and left a lasting scar on the nation. On the other hand, his philanthropy and willingness to defy the establishment earned him a level of admiration among some Colombians, particularly those from impoverished backgrounds who benefited from his largesse. Escobar's story also highlights the broader issues of drug trafficking and its impact on society. His rise to power was facilitated by a combination of economic inequality, political corruption, and the insatiable demand for drugs in wealthy nations. The Medellín Cartel's success underscored the interconnectedness of global drug markets and the challenges of combating transnational crime. Despite his death, the cocaine trade continues to thrive, with new cartels and criminal networks filling the void left by Escobar and his associates. The story of Pablo Escobar serves as a cautionary tale about the allure and dangers of power and wealth obtained through illicit means. It also underscores the complexities of addressing drug-related crime and the need for comprehensive solutions that address both supply and demand. Efforts to combat drug trafficking must go beyond law enforcement and include initiatives to reduce poverty, corruption, and social inequality, as well as programs to address addiction and demand for illicit substances. He was known for his brutal tactics, including bombings, assassinations, and kidnappings. He even kidnapped a commercial airliner in 1979. He evaded capture for years, hiding in secret tunnels and apartments in Medellín. He even had a fake identity as a priest. He was betrayed by one of his closest associates, who revealed his hiding place to the Colombian authorities. He was shot and killed in 1993. Escobar's life and death have been immortalized in popular culture, including the Netflix series Narcos and the film Escobar: Paradise Lost. Escobar's legacy is one of violence, corruption, and destruction. However, his death also led to a significant decrease in drug trafficking and violence in Colombia. In conclusion, Pablo Escobar's transformation into one of history's most notorious criminals was driven by a combination of personal ambition, socioeconomic factors, and the unique opportunities presented by the global drug trade. His story is a stark reminder of the far-reaching consequences of crime and the challenges of bringing powerful criminals to justice. While Escobar's life ended on a Medellín rooftop, the legacy of his actions continues to influence Colombia and the world. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.